Welcome back to the Red River Horror Podcast. This is episode number 15. I am your host, Joe Zakrzewski, joined by Eddie Caiazzo. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Joe, I'm a little tired.
Yeah,
A little weary.
Yeah, because this is a later time than we're normally recording because we have a special guest today.
We do.
Our good old buddy who is now on the West Coast, Joe D'Angelo from Different Take. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Hello, fine gentlemen. How are you?
There he is. Those of you from our area who may have forgot that he was from here too, guess what? He's alive and well, just over on the other side of the country. So,
Barely.
Joe, any fires near you?
A good amount. A good amount.
Okay, well,
but they're okay now. We're good. Surviving.
that's good to know.
all right. So Joe Zakrzewski, Joe D'Angelo from Different Take. I'm Eddie Caiazzo. Joe Z, kick us
Well,
off.
you know, Halloween has passed, but Halloween is not forgotten. So what we're going to do is remember the franchise that brought the three of us together. I guess. I mean, it was more so music, but then also a love for this Halloween franchise. It's a good mix of both.
As far as pop culture goes, this is the first thing that united us.
Yeah.
Like we were always,
Yeah.
on different pages than the same page, but Halloween was
Buddies at a bus stop.
yeah.
Lovers of the Halloween franchise. So, today's episode, the three of us are going to give our rankings of all the current Halloweens. Now, what I was saying earlier, Joe, is that I think it's unanimous what the number one movie is.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. So does anybody want to say what that is?
I think we all have a gentleman's agreement that John Carpenter's Halloween is number one for all three of us.
Pretty much. It's undisputable. I mean, it's one of the best horror movies of all time, and all of this is, side pieces and can go either way on the list, whereas that is number one no matter what. Nothing will ever top that.
Got me. I'm in for that.
Yeah. So we're basically going to take this from 11 to 2. Number one is Halloween. You could watch that anytime. You don't have to watch it on Halloween, even though Halloween has passed. You know what? Watch it just to get those Halloween feels one last time.
Well, that's what this episode's all about, and it actually stemmed from Joe D. from Different Take. He did a ranking of the Halloween movies, and I saw it when he first released it. Now it's getting a ton of play because, the Halloween season, the month of October. So that's why we're doing this, and we're finally all able to be together again.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, do we go to the double sticks, 1-1?
Yeah. So we'll start at number 11. Now, Joe did a video for this on his YouTube channel, Different Take. So make sure you check that out, subscribe, tap that bell, know when Joe's putting out some more content. So let's get started. How about you start us off, Joe?
Okay. Number 11. I feel like it's either one or two movies, but I have to go with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, H2.
Okay.
That's garbage.
Well, Joe, I will agree with you. I actually have that in slot 11.
So it looks like number one and the very worst are unanimous. Rob Zombie's H2 is the worst one.
I'm in agreement.
Someone didn't trash it when we brought up. Daniel Farrens was like, it's not. Was he the one, or is it Stacy? Someone gave it like was like, yeah, if you understand what what he's trying to go with, it's
Sure.
unique. It's like, well,
Yeah.
from a filmmaker's perspective, I can.
Plus, they're not going to trash somebody else in the space. Just
Yeah,
in case they end up.
absolutely not.
No.
It's you hate to trash filmmakers and people who are putting their heart and soul into it, and it's artistic creativity, all that sort of stuff, and you don't want to trash someone's work like that. But this is just opinion based, and we're all kind of just basing this also off of our personal opinions and how we feel about it's not like this isn't set in stone, oh yeah, this is how this works 1 through 11, but we just feel that way because honestly, we talked about before numerous times, we get where Rob Zombie was coming from, what he was trying to do. It didn't translate well. I feel like I don't know who to blame more, Rob Zombie or was it Dimension?
The producers, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. That could always be it. I know they rushed it.
Well, they selected. I don't think he was the right guy to put to to remake Halloween. He's a unique way of developing his movies. They're kind of grindhouse mixed with like just out there. And,
I like that though.
Well, that was where it falls flat for me is the dialogue was terrible. Michael Myers talks, and he made a cardinal sin of making Loomis unlikable as a character.
Yeah,
not to Malcolm McDowell's fault, just the character was not written well.
Yeah.
Kudos on some of the direction on 2 of the murder scenes, the hospital and Danielle Harris's. But yes, guys, spoilers, of course. But yeah, Halloween 2, number 11 for me. We good?
Yeah, I think we're good on that. And the final thing to come out, the big thing around it's the White Pony. If there's anything I want with a White Pony, it's the Deftones album, and that's it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Why did he put that in this? I don't understand. Why couldn't he just put a small sliver of that in the first one? Did you just make it up on the spot? Like, what the hell were you thinking?
Hey, who knows?
So
number 10.
10.
Bring it on. So you want to reverse it, or you want to keep it going, Joe?
Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah.
Resurrection. Number 10. That's right. Resurrection.
Resurrection on a 10. Okay.
You guys might be surprised.
I mean, for me, for 10, it's 5.
Whoa, Joe, we are matching so far.
I can't.
Number 1 is Halloween 78. Number 11, Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie, and number 10, Halloween 5.
Yeah, so like when we were talking about it, it's like, it's like, is 5 so bad that it's good? And it's like, no, it's so bad that it's bad. Whereas Resurrection, I think, gets that great, like gets a little leeway because it's funny at times. Just absurd.
I'm going to elaborate on Resurrection when I get there on my list, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. So for Joe D'Angelo, yours is Halloween 2 from Zombie in the 11 spot, and then the 10 spot, it is Halloween Resurrection.
It's a shame because I feel like there's a Halloween movie there somewhere. If you go on YouTube and you can see the original pre-screened, the screen tests of test screenings for Halloween Resurrection. And it was a different movie before the studio had some meddling in there. Rick Rosenthal had a different movie. It was originally titled Homecoming, and Cole Edit's YouTube channel, by the way, just did a fan cut of it called Halloween Homecoming. So if you haven't seen it yet, they just put it up the other day. It's pretty good. But if you look at the test screen footage, the opening was a dark opening. They used it in the Halloween fan documentary thing called Halloween. I forget what it's called, but it's like a home. It's like home video from like the 70s. And Michael's in the corner.
Yep.
And it's this weird music playing. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I had a bootleg. Funny you say that. I had a bootleg of Resurrection. I purchased it from a flea market right across the river in Pennsauken, New Jersey, and the beginning, it was the hot copy that was on the street was Halloween Homecoming, and it opened with that home video scene.
Wow, you still have that?
I don't. I will look for it. Now, I haven't taken everything from my parents' house, but I've been out of there for about 10 years, so I will look for it. I will look for it.
Did it have a scene where they were outside of the hospital, or at the beginning where Laurie Strode is, and there's like a guy and a girl, and they're in a tent, and then Michael, it's like you think they're gonna get killed, and Michael takes their car, and that's how he gets the car to get back to the house. Do you remember that scene?
I don't remember.
If that's in it, that's the original test screening footage. So that's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Okay.
Cool.
9.
Yeah. All right. Moving over to 9. All right. Joe, who do you got for 9?
If I remember correctly, I'm trying to remember my video now because I don't have my. Do you guys remember did I have RZ1 there? Do you remember?
I'm gonna have to watch it. I figured you would have had it written down.
I do, but it's on my phone because technology is important.
I'm gonna take the lead here. Rob Zombie's Halloween at number 9 for me.
The first one.
The first one, 2007.
Okay. All right. Well, this is where Resurrection comes into play for me.
Okay.
So Resurrection will be at 9. I guess just the silliness that goes into it gives it the edge over. I think 5 bothers me just so much.
5 is tough.
Just that uncle thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. I just no. I've had enough. By that point, and then that just is the icing on the cake. We're just like, woof. But it does have that funny scene in the beginning where the guy gets the rake to the face. Like, he's scratching my car.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the rake in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool exchange between him and Michael, because
It is.
Michael takes care of him pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
Is that in 5?
Yeah. Where is it 4? No, it's 5.
No, it's 5.
It's definitely 5.
Because I remember that because the guy's name is Mike or Michael, and then remember the part where the girl's like Michael, because you think it's going to be Michael Myers, and all of a sudden you see the dude pulls up the car. It's like, what?
That's right.
So just to recap, Joe, my number 9 is Rob Zombie's Halloween. Joe's number 9 is Halloween Resurrection.
Okay, I'm going to go with, I think on my video I had something different, but my video was a little bit different. It was based on just Myers. It was like Michael Myers, the whole like Halloween deal. So I think originally my video I had 3 at this spot because it's almost like because there's no Michael in this movie, but I love it as a movie. So I think I'm going with Rob Zombie's Halloween in this spot. So
Okay.
I think we're going to go overall.
Okay, so you guys are both Rob's.
So we're locked in.
Rob Zombie 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right.
It's just not bad, but it's just dialogue terrible, unnecessary.
What, the first Rob Zombie one?
Yeah.
I mean, the way you said it before, I mean, it's a Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
So, I mean, that's why it's Rob Zombies. I mean, you knew what you were getting. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I blame Rob Zombie or the fact they hired him. Who hired him? I don't know. Understand? That's not.
I think the Weinsteins did approach Rob Zombie because I wrote an article probably about 5 years ago about horror movies specifically, and Rob Zombie's Halloween came up, and I do think that the Weinsteins approached him. We can, of course, fact check that in next year.
Yeah, we can look into
probably.
it.
He was probably coming off Devil's Rejects, and he was a hot director at the time, and the remakes were kind of big, and that's probably exactly what happened. And they didn't really look at it like, oh, could this work? They were just like, hey, hot horror director, Devil's Rejects, let's get him in here.
Yep. So now let's moving up the list. Who we got next?
All right.
Number 8.
We are at number 8.
Okay. So number 8.
Number 8. All right. So I'll go. 8 for me is Halloween Resurrection.
Okay. So now we're on the Resurrection. So Resurrection's 2 spots up from Joe and I.
2 spots up from Joe and 1 spot up, I think, from you.
Yeah, that's right. I have 5 further back.
So the reason Halloween Resurrection, in the in-between time, from the time that we saw it until now, I despised this movie. But when we first got together, and actually, so we us 3 saw this at AMC.
I remember
Andorra.
this, yeah.
We did.
I remember this.
And it was in the days of I still had dial-up internet. I don't know if you were cruising along at high speed yet.
Maybe not at that time.
So the thing is, we were so excited for this film because there were 3 things specifically that we were all excited about. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis was going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was Rick Rosenthal was directing the film.
Mm-hmm. From Halloween 2.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think of the third thing, but go ahead.
It wasn't Busta Rhymes.
No.
Found footage?
No.
Was it the fact that it was a webcam found footage?
No, I'm sorry. The Mask.
Yeah, good mask.
Us 3 saw pictures of The Mask, and then Michael versus Laurie in the still photos in promotion of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you could go on Twitter, Facebook, any of these places that were sharing things like that. Back then, when we were seeing this live and on the internet, and they were promoting the film, we'd see these pictures. So Michael standing opposite Laurie, The Mask, it looked amazing. It looked really good. Rick Rosenthal, who directed 2, which I liked a lot, and of course, Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. So I was very, very excited to go in to see this film. And when we did, I thought it did some things right. The Myers house looked great.
That looked great, yeah.
You know, so
yeah, but then like that, it fooled you just the same way it fooled the people in the movies. I mean, that's kind of clever.
Yeah,
but it was a good concept. I always say that it was a very interesting, cool concept, and it's tough because Halloween relies on mood and atmosphere. It relies on the score, soundtrack, building tension, and it's hard to do that with a found footage or webcam sort of thing. Even though I like found footage movies, horror movies especially. Well, I mean, yeah, found footage horror basically. But when you're dealing with Halloween, it's tough. But if you can mix it up and mix it in there, you can do it right. And I just don't think they pulled it off.
Yep.
No. There's clearly a target. The MTV audience is who they were trying to get, and it basically feels like it was made for MTV.
Yeah,
but
but I had fun when we saw it in theaters. We had fun. We had the popcorn. Oh, yeah. So my number 8, Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. All right. So you want my number 8?
Yep.
All right. You two are going to get really angry right now.
Uh-oh.
Halloween 2018.
Oh.
All right. See, now I'm going to fight you. Okay.
Yeah. We've had this conversation before.
I'm taking a plane right now, and I'm booking my flight, and we are going to have a good old-fashioned brouhaha.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it 2 more times. But after twice, I'm still like, I don't like it.
No,
that's your personal opinions, and
I don't understand why. I mean, I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't know. It got like a little. I hated Laurie in it.
Wow. You monster.
The way they did her character and the way, I don't know. I just like, this is weird.
I'll come back to that with as far as Laurie's character goes. We should expand upon this later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going with, go ahead.
No, I mean, we could talk about it later, but
yeah.
I don't think it was a secret, at least between you two, that I wasn't big on that one.
No.
So.
And that surprises me because it is from filmmakers that you like.
Yeah.
David Gordon Green, Danny McBride.
Yeah.
So I thought by default it would be like, okay, it's already going to start at number 5 for you. But
you would think.
Yeah.
But no.
All right. Joe D, number 8.
I got Halloween 5 at this because it's not a great movie and it doesn't make much sense. It introduced the whole Cult of Thorn thing, and by the way, which I did research and I did find out, the Cult of Thorn was supposed to be a voodoo doctor guy. They just found the footage last year, of Dr. Death. Have you heard about Dr. Death?
No.
When Michael gets blown out of the cave and goes down the river, he's supposed to get picked up by this Dr. Death. It was like this punk looking guy who was into like the dark arts or whatever. I don't know. It was weird. It's strange, but apparently the director came up with the idea as a way to resurrect Michael. As like Michael literally died at the end of Halloween 4, but this is a way to bring him back without making it look like he was supernatural.
Yeah, that's not the Thorn though. We interviewed the guy who wrote the Thorn.
We did.
We got the full inside scoop. Yeah, we interviewed Daniel Farrens, the writer of Halloween 6. Mm-hmm. We know everything, Joe.
Time out.
Sure.
Then, because this is weird now, because there's stills, and if you look at the documentary for Halloween 5, there's footage, like old footage of Dr. Death and him taking the mask off of Michael and him there's like a big stone table where Michael was on top of, and he resurrects Michael by doing this ritual, and then you see in Halloween 5.
I mean, that's basically what they do in Halloween 5.
Yeah, but if you look, but remember, you see the Cult of Thorn symbol on Michael's wrist in Halloween 5.
Yes, but you also see it. Now remember, you see the Cult of Thorn thing. They did almost what Halloween 2 did with Halloween 1. In Halloween 5, when they do the big shoot it up scene and he falls down, when he grips the knife in Halloween 5, you see Thorn all of a sudden on his wrist where it was not in 4. So he's not dead yet. He's dead after he falls down the mine shaft, is what you're saying? Like when is he supposed to die?
So essentially, and people always call the 4, 5, and 6 the Thorne trilogy, and I always contest it. It's not the Thorne trilogy; it's the Danielle Harris trilogy, or at least because she's not in 6, but it's the Jamie Lloyd story because they didn't introduce Colt. But at least I should say the symbol didn't show up until 5, and then the Colt of Thorne backstory as far as everything else came in 6, but because they didn't really got to expand on it in 6. But the symbol was on his wrist in 5. They showed it just for a second. And if you look on that shot, you can see he's on a stone slab. But what happened was the Mustafa Akkad and everything, they were all looking at the footage. They're like, this is too weird. Like, this is too weird. People aren't going to make any, they're not going to understand. It's weird. So think of something. I want to cut it out, make it more simple. So then they reshot footage of the old guy with the little parrot and everything. And they took care of him, and then Michael kills him. All you see in that scene, real quick, they just quick to a cut of a thorn symbol on his wrist, and the viewer's like, "Well, what the hell is that? What does this mean?" It doesn't make any sense. And then they said, "Well, how do you explain everything?" And the director apparently was like, "I don't know what I'm going to do, so let's just shoot this Man in Black footage, and just the writer of Halloween 6 can figure it out." That's what he did. That's how the Man in Black came about. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that there was a lot of craziness around the Man in Black as far as 5 goes. Like they had no idea, and he had to get out at the end, Michael. So I get you there, but you should definitely read Stacey Lane Wilson's interview with Daniel Farrens. That's on RedRiverHorror.com, and listen to the podcast where Joe and I interviewed him.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, you're going to learn a lot of things about what the plan was. With that,
I gotta
he
listen,
submitted.
Everything is how crazy it is. I haven't got a chance to listen to it.
No, it's all good, man.
Between my apartment getting flooded, I
know.
had a chance to catch up on it.
Oh my gosh!
But
all right,
yeah, you remember, but I hear you. I had to listen to that and figure that out because that's it was.
We're not going to spoil it for you, but we know some things that's direct source info regarding Halloween 6 and the Thorn.
Yep.
Like you'll hear my head just explode when he starts telling me what the plan was for 6. That was also supposed to be 6 and 7. So that's all I'll tell you.
Right.
Wow. Well, I guess
approved by Mustafa Akkad himself.
Yes.
Now it wouldn't be the first time that Halloween 5 director and the producers weren't on the same page. So I would not be surprised, and because at the interview he said something, I would not be surprised because he kind of had his own way of doing things. So yeah. Anyway,
okay.
So great.
On this number 7, lucky 7.
We're at number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. All right, hit us with the number 7, Joe.
Number 7, I'm going to go with This is a better movie than a couple of these movies that are on this list. But I'm gonna go. You know what? The hell with it. You know what? I'm gonna go with Halloween 3 at this spot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I love Halloween 3, but I'm going with it here.
All right.
I love it too, but that's a fair call.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of a tough call because it's its own thing.
It is,
but it has the name.
It does have the name.
So
number 7 for me.
Yeah.
Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers at number 7.
Oh, Eddie, we're back on track. We're back on track.
Back
on track, baby. Oh. We're back on track, baby.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yep, number 7.
Number 7.
Yep.
We got 4, and
Explain
3.
yourself. Explain yourself.
For 4?
Oh, well, you go first, and then Eddie. I'm shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know there's like a lot of people who really love 4, and that was like one of the things that we also. Was that Daniel Farrens again who's talking about 4? That he was a big fan of 4. No.
May have been Dr. Halloween.
I think it was definitely Dr. Halloween.
He put it on his list.
Because he was talking about how it's like, oh yeah, you see it on AMC all the time. It's like, yeah, it definitely has its like fans.
Sure,
I've learned that, but it's like the way he looks and just the vibe of everything. It just feels like a cheap '80s slasher. Like Loomis makes the movie. Donald Pleasance makes the movie worth anything.
So you're going with 4 too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Halloween 4 at number 7. For me, I like the fall feel It does have a very autumnal feel, which is very important for a Halloween film. But Michael Myers looks like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
The mask is really, really bad. Danielle Harris is great. Donald Pleasance, of course, is great. But it does very much feel like an 80s slasher movie with a little bit higher class.
Yeah, it's just a little dry. I'm going to put it, it's like,
I look at it as more of an action. I will agree that it's definitely more of an action horror movie than an actual horror. It's not really as scary as some of the, Halloween movies, but I have to slightly disagree on the whole 80s, because it does feel 80s, but I feel like the 80s 80s slasher movies had really, really terrible characters that you just didn't care about, that were just namelessly just mowed down, and they were just like, ha, I'm Nancy, and I'm here today to get naked. And then there's this guy, Steve, who's like, what's going on? All right, good times. Take your clothes off. And they get killed, and you don't know who they are. Halloween 4, I feel like, had really good characters. And I feel like it's a little bit different.
I would agree with that. I just, as far as what's to come on my list, there's just no way 4 is above any of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 4 and 5 to me are just kind of meh.
See, I feel like that happens because of AMC. I feel like people get 4 and 5 mixed up together. They almost pair them together. And I feel like if you watch them separately, I feel like 4 is just way above 5.
4
That's
is,
just me.
But if you think we're picking from 11 movies, and for me, Halloween 5 comes in at number 10, and Halloween 4 comes in at number 7, there's separation there. I think there's two, like between Rob Zombie's Halloween and Resurrection, 4 is that much better than Resurrection, Rob Zombie, Halloween 5, as you said, and Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie. So that's where I put it. Number 7.
I guess I'm not really. I guess I was. You guys aren't that far off. I guess I'm overreacting. My bad.
It's all good, dude.
All right.
It's all good.
So wait, Joe D'Angelo from Different Take, did you give us your number 7?
Season of the
Yeah,
Witch.
he did season.
I love Season
And
of
I
the
wrote
Witch,
it down
but,
here. See?
Yeah.
There you go. It's been a long Halloween season. That's why we're doing this. We're kind of bringing it home for, even though October's over.
Yeah.
We're bringing the season home with a proper send off.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, hey.
And we'll talk about Season of the Witch when we talk about,
Oh,
Halloween.
Joe, I want to do a whole special on that. So when we were doing our list, I talked about how it is an essential Halloween movie.
Yep.
It is. I agree with that.
And then if you listen to our interview with Daniel Farrens and read that, it becomes even more
It does.
essential. Like it's driving me crazy that this vision this guy had didn't come through.
I'm excited. Like I'm really proud of that episode. I'm just saying, for those Red River Horror listeners out there, I'm very proud of that.
Daniel
episode.
and Stacy were just great with those stories. I mean, we've been lucky to have like really good interviews with like people sharing like really good stories.
Yep.
So that I'm grateful
agree.
for like this early on. So it's really cool.
Yep. All right, number 6. Joe, you're the host, man. You make the call.
Oh man, I gotta do number 6 now. All right, number 6 for me, because it's like I thought about maybe putting in my top 5, but that might be a little extreme.
Ooh.
But this is interchangeable. It could change at a few years, but I genuinely do like Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Okay.
But I'll put that at 6 because like it's not like I can't say it's one of the best ones, but I personally really enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's important. No, I think how you feel about the film, and Joe, to your point, Joe D'Angelo from Different Take, your point when you made your video, which was kind of the catalyst for all this. Okay, let's rank our films. That comes into play. How you feel about the film.
It really does.
I mean, aside from like the cinematography, the direction, the colors, the sound, all that stuff. I mean, hey, personal preference is important.
Yeah. I mean, I just enjoyed it. It had a really good feel to it for me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Number 6, Joe D'Angelo, Different Take. Go ahead.
This is going to probably be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to go with H2O.
Okay.
For this spot. Which is probably the wrong answer, but
Meh, that's okay.
I expected as much.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
There's a part of me that wants to put it higher than a certain movie that we'll talk about later, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Eduardo?
Number 6 for me, just because of what's left. So I don't want our former guests to be offended because I'm a huge fan of this film. Halloween 6 is in the number 6 spot.
Six is 6 for you?
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. But here's where it gets fun. So now we're getting to the top 5.
Yes.
All right. We already know what number 1 is. So now we've grounded, did some grindage.
This is the list now. Right. This is where it gets serious.
So I'm going to tell you my 5.
Okay.
And that's going to be H2O.
Okay.
So that's like where I was talking about Rob Zombies and then like H2O. Between the two of them, it's like I do genuinely enjoy them because H2O came out, at the time of like the screams and all that. And it was great. It has that same kind of feel. Jamie Lee Curtis was back. Josh Hartnett, LL Cool J. What a cast. Hartnett gets but that's his character, supposed to be a little annoying. So
yeah,
that's all together. I mean,
but it's a top 5.
It's a very enjoyable movie, especially just for the '90s nostalgia in there.
Okay,
like that late night, like our '90s, the later '90s,
like Dimension Films, like the big studio genre label, and then I absolutely there was a feel to that brand, that label. I mean, starting with Scream and moving to the rest of the decade, for sure.
Yes, it was a good one. It's because it was like when we were getting into horror movies. Is one of the first probably the first new one, because you got to see it in theaters, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
I saw it with my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were too young to go on our own, but
true.
There's that one. It's like, oh man, I want to go see this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but hey, yeah. So that's my 5.
I agree. I agree. And it was I loved this movie growing up. I did. But it's not like I don't enjoy it now. I do. But it's very, it's too much like Scream. I would love to see someone just rescore the whole movie and just put like the Halloween in 2018 score, like a combination of like Halloween 1, Rob Zombie's Halloween, because it feels like all the cues is like all the orchestra. I'm just like, get out of my face. This sounds like Scream.
And it was.
I mean, the Laurie concept, and it's, I think, a lot better than the 2018 one.
You bite your tongue. You bite your tongue.
I was trying to hold it back.
You bite your tongue.
It's like that one's way more realistic. It's like,
how would you know, sir?
Goes off and, tries to live a new life under a different name. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Becoming a crazy lady in the woods, waiting for him to come back. A lot less sense.
You know what? You're offending all the crazy people in the woods waiting for someone to come back.
Okay, so number 5 is H2O.
H2O
for Joe Z.
Yep.
Red River Joe.
What you got, Eddie?
My number 5 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I like that you kept it in a top 5 spot.
Yeah.
It belongs there, for us at least.
It truly does.
Yeah.
We were, before it got this resurgence where people look back on it retroactively and realize how good it was.
Yeah.
We were the OGs of that.
Yeah.
We popped in the VHS tape from West Coast Video, and the first time we saw it, we were just like, this is awesome.
Yeah. And a shout out to listener and good friend of mine, good friend of the show, Steve Feast, for after we talked about Season of the Witch, actually has memorabilia, like some collectibles for Seasons of the Witch. So
nice.
Wow.
Shout out to Steve for respecting Seasons of the Witch.
It's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. That cracks my top. Well, that begins my top 5.
Yeah.
It needs to be remade. I'm telling you right now. I know you guys don't like remakes, but I feel like that deserves an upscale.
That could be a really cool remake.
Yes, I totally agree.
Let's see what we can do about maybe I'll just start writing it.
Can you imagine the scale, like with all the like what they could do, the scale of that now? Like, you know what I mean? Oh.
Joe
So
D.
cool.
Imagine.
I'm going with Halloween 6 in my top 5.
That's
Halloween
at 5?
6. It's not a. I know it has flaws, and believe me, as like movie to movie, H2O and like Rob Zombie's Halloween and like movies like that, they're better executed than Halloween 6, even and Halloween 3 as well. It's just that there's something about Halloween 6. It's got a really great fall atmosphere. It just Michael's brutal in it.
Mm-hmm.
He is like brutal.
It's scary.
He sure is.
When we were younger, when that came up, and then you have the cult and all that stuff, that was scary. That was very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I still remember seeing the commercial on TV. And when they showed the quick clip where she's on the phone and she's like, there's somebody behind you, and Michael is coming up behind the girl, and I was like, and the little girl, the old lady's like, the boogeyman, and all of a sudden the lightning hits, and I'm like, oh my God. As a kid, I was freaking out. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are in the top 5, gentlemen.
So we're going to 4.
Yep.
Oh
So
my!
You choose. You are the host, so you choose me, Joe, or yourself.
Oh
to
my
name number 4.
Goodness, for number 4, I mean, it's really, really tearing me up on how I wanted to structure this. But you know what? I'm going to put. This is where I'm putting Seasons of the Witch
Okay.
at 4.
All right.
We already covered. It's special to us.
Hell. Hey.
Yeah. So what you got, Joe?
I'm going with Halloween 2.
Okay.
And believe me, I want to put it lower.
Yeah, I know you have some beef with Halloween 2. Rick Rosenthal's Halloween 2.
I love Halloween 2.
So did Dr. Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
So when we did the calendar for October for horror movies, our contributor to the website who goes by Dr. Halloween, he has a beef with Halloween too.
It's hard to no, it's not hard to explain. Very simple. I used to love this movie. I used to automatically assume that it was because it looked so much like part 1 because of the Dean Cundey and Carpenter. John Carpenter did some reshoots, and even Carpenter says a criticism of it. He said it's too much like the original. He tried to make it too much like the original to the point where he had to add gory scenes to make it compete with like the 80s slasher movies that were coming out at the time that were copying Halloween.
Right.
But he wasn't a big fan of it either. I'm just Carpenter, not Rosenthal.
Sure.
No disrespect to Rick Rosenthal, by the way, or anybody else. It's just I've seen this movie numerous times, over and over and over and over again. I can't remember. There's large gaps where I just don't remember what I do. I couldn't tell you. It just moves so slow. And because the hospital, the setting that it's in, it could be really cool. But because they don't really differentiate between certain areas, you just don't know where Laurie is compared to Michael. So there's like the suspense that's supposed to be there. You're like, oh my God, Michael's there. You just don't know where the hell. He could be on floor 3 for crying out loud. And she could be on the 6th floor just wandering around. She's sleeping all the time. She's like, it's Laurie, are you? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. I am tired now. I don't take pills to make me go to sleep. I just watch Halloween 2.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, it's in your top 5, so it still does.
Yeah.
It still gives you. It gives you a half chub.
It's hard.
This is going to just keep going down and down.
The sister storyline too. Another thing. What?
Yeah.
That's what alcohol duty, I guess. John Carpenter drinks a little beer with Deborah Hill. Like, yeah, I guess they're siblings. How about that? Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you going to do?
In the number 4 spot for me, Halloween 2018. The Blumhouse Halloween.
Got that 4?
I really, really, really liked Michael Myers in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the music was was spot on. And the thing is, I was going into this movie because I actually saw and met John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And after meeting him, I thought at this stage of his career, he wasn't going to take anything else really seriously, because he made it clear that when people give him a check for his previous work or to remake his work, that's what makes him happy. When they don't, then he doesn't like it. So I didn't know how much he was invested in it when they said, oh, he's going to be one of the executive producers. He's going to do the soundtrack. The soundtrack is killer. Michael is scary again. And Joe, I think this is one of your criticisms from way back, not from your video on Different Take. I actually liked the orange hue that the movie was set in like that fall tone, because you know what? No one's going to take that blue moonlight, like Dean Cundy cinematography, John Carpenter's direction. Nobody's going to be able to do that again. So Halloween 2018 has its own aesthetic to me that I really like.
Okay.
Nope.
Hey, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. So good. So then we're at the top three.
Top three.
Even though we already know what number one is. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you my number three. And, obviously it's one that you two have already listed. And for me, that is 6.
Ah.
The Curse.
Very good.
The Curse. And why is that a top 3 to me? Why? Because it's the very first one that I saw. When I watch it, I remember how much I like it. When I talk about it, I remember it's like I forget about it, and then when presented with it, I'm like, oh yeah, like I love that. Like I watched it at way too young of an age.
Sure.
It scared the bejesus out of me. So I got, so it left it's a special place. It has a special place in Joe's heart.
Do you guys prefer the producer's cut or the theatrical cut?
I will, to be perfectly honest, they both are good to me. I can't picture, like, Halloween 6 is what I fell in love with, like the Curse of Michael Myers. So that already to me was a good movie. The producer's cut, I remember you bringing it over. It's surprising, in this house when I first moved in. Joe D'Angelo from Different Take, he brought over a VHS tape. He's like, guys, I got it. Like what they were talking about. And I remember the footage that is in the producer's cut looked like very frosty, very inserted. And I think it was Shout Factory or Scream Factory has since actually put the cut of the film together, mastered it, and I actually have the Blu-ray of it. That's a good question, Joe D'Angelo. There's things that I like better about The Curse of Michael Myers, the theatrical cut, and there's other things I like better about the producer's cut. I think the producer's cut has a more complete ending, and we all know the production problems with the final theatrical cut of Halloween 6 and why the ending is so abrupt and strange. Producer's cut kind of caps that off nicely, but I don't really think that if this is Danielle Harris's character in Jamie Lloyd, I don't really think she was done well in the producer's cut. I didn't really like that.
That's my biggest criticism of that is Jamie Lloyd's demise. Actually, honestly, in either one, I don't really like the way she went out in either one. I just don't like it.
No, but at least at least there's a moment between her and Michael in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
In the producer's cut, it's just like, oh, okay, so like the Man in Black's just gonna go in with a silencer and just that's it. It
that
seems
was ridiculous.
Why do you survive just to get finished off that way?
No.
Yeah.
So
Paul Rudd's Tommy Doyle delivers.
He does.
Yeah.
He delivers the goods.
So I would have had Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, and Jamie Lloyd be the one with at the end to finish off my. I don't know. Jamie Lloyd why make it this far just to kind of go meh. Okay, see you later.
And I don't know. I mean, Daniel Farrens has done a ton of interviews. I'm sure we could filter through them, but he didn't really say what his intention was for her character. Yeah, he didn't really say.
What'd you say? Wait, what'd you say?
He
He's fucking farting over here. He's gassing me out. It's fine.
I can't help it, guys.
It's a long recording session.
Been up since 3 a.m.
Best radio.
Sitting here trying to. Sorry to the folks at home sitting here trying to power through.
We can cut and stuff.
Nah, we'll keep it going. It's fun.
All right.
Get the producer's cut, the theatrical cut.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a long, drawn out explanation from me, but I honestly like both cuts of the film.
Yeah. They're both enjoyable, and it just holds that special thing. And then of course it's like how brutal the Michael Myers character is in it. You know, I like that too. That's fun.
Yeah,
that's fun. There's some good camera angles in there too, with like when he's walking. I like when they catch that low, and then boop, 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 boop.
Okay.
But hey, that's one man's opinion.
No, I love the walk through that boiler room, that long hallway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool scene. Like that was, and the thing is, that scene didn't even need to be included. Like if you think of the storyline, there was no real reason for it. But it's just like I'm so glad that they did it. Him walking.
They cut so much dialogue.
Yeah, right.
They cut so much dialogue in the producer's cut that they needed some fillers. So they had that hospital scene with all the doctors, and they added that in there last second. And made it gory and everything. Made it gory. So when he does, like you were saying, when he does that little hop step, when he's chasing the doctor, which is, by the way, the guy who plays Michael, right?
Yes.
What's his name?
Not Dick Warlock. George Wilbur. He's chasing George Wilbur. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you see him, maybe you remember, he's like chasing him. He does a little hop step. He does like a little run, a little jog. I'm like,
he's moving.
Michael Myers is running.
Yeah. That always scares me more than anything.
Yeah.
When he's got to move on.
Yeah. And we can go into a different franchise as to why that one particular movie is my favorite of that franchise, because he fucking runs. Not Michael Myers, different guy.
Sure.
Has a name, starts with a J.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
So no, Joe, I that is a strong, solid number 3. Halloween 6 is in all of our top 5s. It's just such a good Halloween film. I don't know if you could make something like that nowadays, something that was so different and had to complete a storyline that wasn't like where we left off with 5. Like, who could have taken that and made a more fitting
absolutely
next chapter. So love Halloween 6.
So that's my 3.
All right.
All right, what do you got, Ed?
Oh, my number 3. Oh, I didn't talk about mine yet?
Oh, yeah, no, you did. You did 8.
Mine is H2O at number 3.
Yeah, you're H2O. Yeah.
Yep.
We've just talked about H2O already.
We have. So for me, I'll just kind of, to move it along so we can get to number 2. Halloween, 20 years later, I saw it with my dad, so we kind of had that. Mm-hmm. He saw Halloween and kind of introduced me to that. He taped Halloween 1 and 2 on TV when I was younger. That's how I watched them. We went to, AMC and/or 8, and we saw it together. We had, dinner, coffee, all that good stuff. Like, I just have a lot of fond memories. But when we're talking about the film itself, because you know me, I'm very nostalgic. The film itself, I thought Jamie Lee Curtis's character was spot on. It was perfect. I thought that her forcing a final showdown was a great way to end it, and I love the drop from the ceiling. That was like,
oh yeah, you still love that.
I love that drop from the
slow
ceiling.
Drop from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. And
you like that?
I love it.
He loves it.
And I thought the ending couldn't be more perfect. I thought that was the perfect ending, so much so that when they were talking about Halloween 2018, I was just like, you know what? You already squandered the perfect ending in H2O. Like, H2O was the perfect ending for their story, for Laurie and Michael's story.
Yeah.
So, honestly, in Halloween 2018, I ultimately wanted Michael to win going in.
Because, I mean, the way that movie's structured, he would.
Yeah.
Just, magic.
Right.
But we won't get started on my gripes with 18. So.
No. But H2O, she locks everyone out and says, okay, Michael, it's time for you and I to go head-to-head and finish this. And she does.
My only problem with that was that she, as much as I loved Day Show when it came out, and it was the only one that I really, because it was current and it was 90s and stuff, like I watched for a long time. It was near and dear to my heart. So much that, like, even Resurrection, when we saw it in the theater, remember we all walked out of the theater like, that was awesome. That was the best movie, best Halloween movie ever.
I was happy. I was happy when we left Resurrection. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fun day.
Movie, you know,
we had fun with the movie.
Yeah, H2O is just over the years is just sort of. I can now, like, just watching and comparing and looking at H6 and H1 and all that sort of comparing, kind of going like, I don't really, because I watch it, but it's almost like I have to force myself to watch it not to force it. It brings back a lot of nostalgia. It brings back a lot of memories, but it's like there's something missing, and the Halloween atmosphere is missing for me. It doesn't feel like a Halloween movie, so I kind of miss out on that. And it takes too long. Like you said, I love the part where she fights back. I do love that. My only critique would be that for me personally, it's just me, it takes a lot to get to that point, and I wanted more of that. I wanted just give me like a little bit more of her getting to that point and like just sort of like fighting back. Just give me a little bit more of that. And it wasn't, to me, it was so close to the end when she did that.
Okay.
All right, number 3 for me, H2O.
Do we do number 3 for Joe?
We did. I think I have it written down. Or man, did we talk a lot?
No, we talked a lot about 6.
Wow, Joe D.
Joe, what's your number 3?
Woo.
Number 3, I'm going with Halloween 4. I used to not hate, but I used to lump Halloween 4 in with Halloween 5. And it was one of the ones where I was like, the mask looks ridiculous. And it was actually on the bottom of my list for a long, long time because I just always associate it with just like a really goofy movie with a goofy mask and typical 80s slasher stuff like 5. And I just watching it the past couple of years, I was like, wow, no, this isn't the movie I remember. This movie is way better than I remember it. It's not scary. Yes, it's not. But I like Rachel. I like the characters in it. I like the relationship with Rachel and Jamie, Brady. Or Grady. Is it Grady or Brady? I can't remember.
That's Brady.
It's Brady. Even he's not your typical like, dickhead guy. He's like, yeah, he makes a mistake, but he's like, he comes back around and he redeems himself a little bit. Even the other girl, the sheriff's daughter, like it's like you don't totally dislike her. It's like everyone seems like they made like logical decisions, and the fact that the sheriff took Dr. Loomis seriously. He was like, "Sheriff, I've seen him. He's coming here. I'm telling you now. He's here. He's going to Haddonfield." And
yo, that was a killer impression, Joe.
I spent 4 hours a day.
That's good, man.
Put a round of applause. Oh man,
thank you.
You nailed it.
I like it.
The fact that he's like flipping out and like the sheriff doesn't blow him off, kind of like okay, crazy Dr. Lee. He's like, all right. Well, if he's half as dangerous as you're making out to be, we need to set up perimeters. We need to make sure everybody's safe. And it's like, whoa, what's happening here? It's like this is getting the intensity level. It's like, wow, the stakes are really high here. Michael's coming back. And to come back after 10 years since Halloween 3, when they, it's 1989, right? That's when it came out?
89? No, 88 for Halloween 4.
88?
Yeah, so
okay,
7,
88.
Yeah.
So about 5 years, something like that, 7 years. I don't even remember because I wasn't live, but in 85, 83 or whatever. But yeah, it was just like, okay, wow. And it was a good way to come back. So I know it has flaws. To me, the biggest flaw with it is the mask and the shoulder pads, obviously.
Yeah.
But I have grown to enjoy Halloween 4 a lot.
All right. That is surprising to me that it would be there, but we press on.
Yeah. We press on to number 2. So we're probably back on the same page by default.
Whoa. Oh yeah, I guess. I've been.
There's only one left.
I'm the only one taking notes, and I keep forgetting what everybody has, and I literally have it written down.
It's okay, but we got into it a little bit. Joe's got the issue with the hospital, like the hospital thing. I get that. Halloween 2 is my number 2, and I'm going to tell you why it's always going to be number 2. When you talk about, separating 4 and 5, it's like, they are like basically like one long movie, just really poorly done. Whereas 1 and 2 is the same thing. It's one, you just cut out the ending credits and you just start. Just 2 picks up where 1 leaves off. You can watch them back to back. And it's just one long, fantastic, wonderful Halloween Michael Myers movie.
I forgot how much that was important to you. Like,
you know how much I love that?
Yes. And but I had forgotten going into it's been a long Halloween season.
So I consider it number 2 because I still consider it part of number 1.
Okay.
Like it's an extension of itself.
So you have to watch 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
You could thank Dean Cundy for that. If it weren't for Dean Cundy, that movie would not look the way that it did.
Yeah.
Dean Cundy's a master. A master.
See, I had to put a lot of thought into what my number 2 selection was, and I will never forget how scared I was of Halloween 2. So when Dad taped those 2, from the USA Network so I could watch them back in the day, and I watched 1 and I watched 2, and obviously we are all in agreement, John Carpenter's Halloween is number 1 by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But 2 scared me. Like when I went to bed that first night I saw Halloween 2, I thought of him at the turnstiles going into the hospital, standing there, and the orange that lit that dirty mask. I thought of him appearing in the background with the needle in his hand, ready to jam it in the nurse's eye. That he was creepy and he was everywhere. It was so suspenseful, Halloween 2 to me, and it was so scary for me.
Yeah.
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 I respect y'all's opinions. It's just not, it doesn't do it for me. It's so slow. And not to mention Dick Warlock.
First one's really slow.
The first one is slow, but it's suspenseful and it builds. It goes, especially when you're looking at like the wide range. Carpenter uses the wide. Him and Dean Cundy work great together to build. Like you notice the beginning shots in the first act are like wide angle lens, and all of a sudden the scope gets smaller and smaller, and by the third act, it's like those shots are uptight. It's like you're right in there because it's like the boogeyman's coming, he's coming, he's here, and it's like the danger right away because of the fact that it's like this kid, which by the way, when people originally saw that movie, they weren't expecting that to happen, and then it's like wow, then he escapes. It's like wow, okay, this is the threat. So there's a suspense there. Whereas with 2, you kind of knew what you're getting into, but it was just more the same. But to me, it wasn't doing enough to like you take the hospital out of Halloween 2, and it's like what is great? Not great. I shouldn't say that. What really separates it and makes it unique? Do you remember any of the characters? I don't. I couldn't tell you who the hell. I remember Laurie. I remember Dr. Loomis.
That's all you really need to know because it's just picking
Jimmy?
up from the first one.
Is it Jimmy though? Is it
Jimmy?
Jimmy?
Jimmy's what's guy? That? Lance Guest, the actor.
Yeah. He's like, you want a soda? I'll get you a soda. You want to just drink? She's like, yeah. And it's like Creeper Jimmy, get out of here! God damn it! He's all fucked up. This is assault, brother.
Yeah. I understand.
I don't know.
But Halloween 2 scared the living crap out of me. Him walking on those closed circuit TVs, walking down the hall.
The drowning.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That too.
That was probably the most memorable thing. Yeah.
That was brutal.
That's one of his best kills ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we'll turn to you, Joe. You got your number 2?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Which is...
Halloween 2018, no doubt about it.
You love it.
No doubt about it.
The boy loves it.
I waited. When that movie came out, I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to just come to a halt here. And I'm going to just chill for a minute. And people say, oh, where are you going to put it at? I'm like, I don't know. I know it's high. That's all I'm going to say, because it's from a complete movie standpoint, it is way better than the majority. I love the Halloween franchise. A lot of these movies are not that good, and it's a shame because I feel like the franchise is way better than Friday the 13th, and it's so much more interesting of a character. And all these movies are, even the bad ones they're interesting at least. And but there's flaws with the other movies. This was like, oh God, finally. Oh Jesus. Like the mask, the score, the characters. And yeah, could you make the case that maybe Laurie's character in H2O was more believable? Yes. But at the same time, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I will not sit here and tell you straight to your face, like, nah, that's not believable in H2O. Because I think it just depends on the personality. It's a different take on the character of Laurie Strode. So I think it's an interesting exploration of how trauma can affect not only the person being Laurie Strode, but how it can affect the people around you. And which is way more deeper and interesting than anything any other movie in this franchise has done. The fact that you can see how it affects not only Laurie Strode, but how it affects her daughter and how she's closed off and acts like everything's okay with her ray of sunshine, Ray. And how because he's the total opposite. He's like goofy and stuff and make jokes like, I got peanut butter on my penis and stuff like that. He makes jokes. But I like that character because that is the antithesis to Laurie.
Right. But what about that stupid twist with the cop? Was it Hawkins?
Well, yeah, Hawkins. Well, the twist was more with Sartain, but Hawkins. Speaking of Hawkins, you can even see the trauma or the effect of what happened to him. Remember, and they couldn't do that scene. I think that's why they wanted to do that scene when after Halloween 1. But actually, John Carpenter convinced them not to do it. Which I think they're going to do it in Halloween Kills. The after effect, Carpenter screened the movie and said, "Do not show too much of Michael getting arrested. Keep the mystery there. I wouldn't even try too hard." But Hawkins was the first officer on site, and he could have killed Michael. He had an opportunity to kill Michael, and he didn't. He didn't. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Loomis had an opportunity to kill Michael, apparently, and Hawkins stopped him. Hawkins stopped Loomis. So everybody that comes up in Halloween 2018, everybody he opens up, every body bag he opens up, Hawkins looks at, you can see in his face the regret because he actually saved Michael's life. And now these people are dying because of what he did. There's a lot of just a lot of pain, regret, just how basically like butterfly effect, how things can affect people going forward and it's just a deeper theme and how sort of monsters can create monsters. And the Sartain twist, okay, at first it seems like a out there whoa twist, but the whole movie is a twist if you think about it. The whole movie is a twist of 78. So Sartain is fine with me because Sartain is the antithesis to Loomis. So he is the opposite of Samuel Loomis. So if Samuel Loomis wants to keep Michael locked up and wants to keep him, he wants to kill Michael, then Sartain wants to unleash him onto the world. We just didn't notice it when we first saw it. But the more you watch it and you listen to everything Sartain says, he's completely obsessed and enamored with Michael and wants to sort of study the things that he does. And not so much, he's not so much like Loomis, where Loomis is like, we got to lock the evil up. Sartain's like, we want to see where the monster kills people. We want to see the monster.
Joe D nailing the impressions.
Yeah, killing the impressions. Do those really stupid podcasters in the beginning of that movie.
What?
That god awful scene.
We're investigative journalists.
There we go. Yeah,
I
hated that so much that it just left a sour. It was just a rough start for me.
See, I like I think it's a nice little homage to the fact that they had little British accents to give some expose on Michael and what happened and everything. And it's the same thing Carpenter did with Halloween 1 because he wanted Dr. Loomis to have a English accent, posh English accent, because he wanted the exposition on Michael to sound more like it was more important. It added weight to everything. So I thought that was a nice little nod to that. That's just me. And I like the fact that Sartain, if you looked at the actor who played Sartain, he's from Turkey or something. It's very close to the country where Mustafa Akkad is from. and they even have the mustache.
Jordan?
I feel like that's I could be wrong.
So.
I could be wrong, but I feel like that's a little nod to Sartain, a little nod to Akkad in some way. I could be wrong on that. That's
Possibly.
just my personal.
That is possible. That's gonna be one where it's like I've watched it twice. I said I'll give you 2 more watches before but
Well, we are going to do this.
Yeah.
Next year, we are going to recap. I think this should be a Halloween tradition for Red River Horror.
Yeah, why not? Halloween tradition.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We have come. We're approaching the end of this episode.
Yeah. So should we just quickly run through our lists?
Yeah, give them a rundown.
All right. For me, I'm just going to go first because I initiated it. All right. Number 11, Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie. Number 10, Halloween 5. Number 9, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Number 8, Halloween Resurrection. Number 7, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Number 6, Halloween 6, Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween 666, whatever you want to call it, it's in the 6th spot. Coming in number 5, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Coming in at number 4, Halloween 2018. Number 3, H2O, Halloween 20 Years Later. And number 2, Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, directed by Rick Rosenthal. Shot by Dean Cundy, of course, and we're all in agreement on number 1.
The original one. You know what we're talking about, like, you know, the Halloween movies. We've done stuff with like Halloween 6 and talking about all these names involved with the movies. We haven't given Deborah Hill
I know, you're right.
anything. We should
You
be
are
ashamed of
right.
ourselves. Shout out Deborah Hill.
Yeah.
Shout out Deborah Hill, absolutely.
Yeah.
I gotta get that shirt that says a Deborah Hill production. I gotta get that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good call, Josie.
we can't do this
No.
and we didn't reference her once. And it's like, which I was just thinking, I'm like, what's the other thing with 2? I'm like, Deborah Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she didn't write the dialogue or help, I know it seems like dated dialogue right now, but if she didn't help write the dialogue in Halloween 1, I mean, I don't know how good it would be, because I don't think John Carpenter knew. He even says, I don't know how to write, teenage girl dialogue. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
All
So
right.
it works. All right. Let's give him a rundown. What do you want, mine?
Yep.
What did I do? I did Zombies H2. Oh, I gotta pull out the.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run through mine
Yeah, that's
because
good.
I was excited and I wrote mine down.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know. I had it open on a web page, and I was just like, I'm gonna pick and choose from this list as my own. No, I used my own thing. It was just the movies in chronological order was what I was looking at
Oh, okay.
as I was picking them. So, but hey, it's all good because we'll do it again next year, and we might have another one to add on to the list by then because Kills should be out.
We will.
Kills will be out by then.
I think so.
Man, Joe, you're definitely
The
very
teaser
excited
came
for
out
that.
today. Did you guys see the teaser? I didn't see the teaser yet. I want to do a reaction video on it. Did you know a teaser came out today?
No. Well,
The second teaser.
This is going to air on Monday. Well, it's going to begin airing on Monday, November 2nd, and you sound like an alien again, so this is probably a good time for us to wrap up.
Yeah.
All right, well, I know I sound like an alien, but November 2nd, whatever. This day, today we're recording this, that teaser came out. And I am just biting. I want to watch it, but I have to film a video because apparently I'm a video guy.
Yep.
But still. And I apologize right now if anyone thinks I'm sarcastic or obnoxious. I just get emotional and worked up, and my ADHD takes over. And that's all.
No, it's all
good.
No one. I'm not. I love Joe and Eddie, and Eddie Joe know who I am. So I'm not.
Oh my gosh,
Joe, tell the people where they can find you.
yeah.
At home. No. Different Take YouTube channel. Just search Different Take. I'm on Instagram, sometimes Facebook. Different Take. Letterbox as well.
Cool.
Oh, you'll have to let me know what that is. I've heard of
Different
Letterboxd.
Take. Find it.
Very cool.
Subscribe. Tap that bell. Tap that
hit
bell.
that.
Yep, and if you want to follow Red River Horror on Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff, just type in Red River Horror. That's all I got, Joe.
Yeah, you can find me, of course, at Red River Joe on the Twitter. Don't forget to send us any suggestions for future episodes. If you have a personal ghost story that you would like to share, remember to email redriverhorror@gmail.com or contact me at redriverjoe. And as always,
I'm going to ask you about my ghost story.
We'll do it.
For you guys.
Well,
there
that's
we
Joe
go.
D'Angelo from Different Take. I'm Eddie Caiazzo.
And I am Joe Zakrzewski, and as always, keep traveling those channels of fear.